Ranked really is the place to go if you're wanting to have fun in secondary battleships. Since there's so many fewer ships in the game, you can afford to be much more aggressive. So in a ship like Georgia, we can afford to speed boost right off the bat as this game starts and push in to support our destroyer. Here we have a black, which has a radar, which is very, very useful, but you'll notice that the cruiser on our team decided to go to A, or C, I should say. And that means that, well, this black would have been alone had we not pushed so aggressive with our speed boost. Now, a typical play probably would be to turn out or maybe even just hold on this corner, but I was feeling especially aggressive this day, and I really, really wanted to push in and have some fun. Since I knew their battleships weren't as fast, I knew I could get around this corner and push towards the enemy's side of this cap. This is a very risky, very aggressive play, but with the Georgia against this competition, I know they're slow. It actually is going to work out pretty well for us. It's going to create a big crossfire since our, well, Soviet Russia, it's a premium, basically Soyuz, with a weird dispersion pattern. Just a normal dispersion pattern instead of the Russian one. But it creates a crossfire. And our DD is able to smoke up and farm as well. And really all we had to deal with there was that one front gun salvo from the Palmer. And that was it. And now that we've pushed all the way through the A cap, we're creating a massive crossfire. And yeah, 20k right into the side of that Palmer. An excellent way to start off this game. Of course, it only works because the enemy team put all their battleships here. Their destroyers trying to farm me out. Of course, Georgia's weakness is its gigantic superstructure, so their DD is doing a great job of that. But we're totally exposed to the entire enemy team that is up at their B cap. But they're busy with our team, and that is why this is working out and is making such a decent distraction. So this isn't going to work most of the time, but in ranked, some weird stuff can happen where you can get away with some very, very, very risky plays. It really comes down to there just being so few people in the match. And yeah, we catch broadsides, but RNG says no. Unfortunately, that's the reality of playing a battleship. Even with a full gun build here, I'm taking the dispersion upgrade, not getting greedy for reload or even reload on secondaries with this thing. I'm trying to make the guns as accurate as possible. It does work reasonably well against the Palmer though, but I'm just sad we didn't quite get those citadels into the Izumo. Unfortunately, the Palmer doesn't quite die, so I have to disengage at this point. Their DD is... their DD is nearly the farthest back out of everyone on their team because he's trying to farm me. So excellent, excellent bait there, and that is really going to help our team win this game. The Palmer on our team has pushed into the middle to deal with this Izumo, so I've turned around to try and help him out. At this point, though, it's not looking amazing because our team has played a little too aggressive. I'm not sure how we've lost 2 ships already, I'll be honest, especially given how aggressive our play was and how we were distracting everyone. But we're still in a decent spot to win this game since we can take out this Izumo, and I do believe the Marco Polo on the enemy team should be going down anytime soon. And if he doesn't die, we should be able to deal with him after we've cleaned up this Izumo. Unfortunately, our Palmer is going to eat a bunch of torpedoes here and go down, but we're going to trade him out with this Izumo kill. And with our teammates dealing decent damage to the Marco Polo, he goes down as well. So a very brawly, weird game of World of Warships, but it's what you can expect in ranked if you push in very aggressively. Games like this can happen more often than not. You just got to take the initiative with it. We're going to put a decent salvo into the superstructure, but it's actually going to be the Torps that managed to finish off this Izumo. So well played to the Palmer in managing to predict those Torps correctly. Moving on, we've dealt with the rest of the enemy, and we're just chasing down their black. At this point, it's GG. And yeah, there's our dispersion. There's our RNG. We hit 4 out of 4 shells into this poor destroyer. The AP certainly can chunk, assuming you hit enough shells, and our secondaries are actually going to get us that kill. Pretty nuts game, and a lot of fun. Really only possible in a ship like the Georgia, just because this thing is insanely quick, pretty good at close range, thanks to the secondaries and that fast cooldown heal. Another one I've been having a lot of fun with in ranked is the Giuseppe Verdi. This is a ship that I don't think sees a lot of play. I don't think many people got this thing, and fair enough. It's a bit of a weird gimmick ship. Personally, I would have loved to see the entire mainline Italian battleships be based around this ship, where they have normal armor piercing, normal HE on the main guns, but the secondaries have sap. And that, I think, would have been very, very interesting for the Italian battleships. I really have a ton of fun using this smokescreen. You're going to see it used in a couple different ways here. The two main ways I like to use it is as a getaway smoke, a smoke to push between islands. You can see there's this giant gap on this map. It's often very hard to push, especially without team support. Notice I don't have any teammates around me. Massachusetts is farming me with his secondaries, and the enemy DD even smokes up to start farming me. Instant fire, it's not looking good. Secondaries light a fire, it's not looking good. Well, good thing we have a smoke screen that lasts for 70 seconds. Close enough, right? And yeah, I love to use this smoke screen to travel between really dangerous stretches of the water, getting myself to another checkpoint island. This is a great way to use it as well. If you're on a double fire and you use your damage control, well, this is a great way to recharge that damage control basically for free. We're able to dodge the torpedoes since it's very likely if a destroyer smokes up to start farming you and you're pushing in, they probably torped the gray line and now are starting to just gun you down with their main guns. Unfortunately, we push a little too aggressive and catch ourselves in the Pommern Hydro. So take a little more damage, DD gets another instant fire on us, and at least we get around the corner safely without taking torps or a massive salvo from the Massachusetts. These Italian smokes are a ton of fun. It's a good time playing these ships at close range. Unfortunately, that's not really terribly possible in random battles, at least most of the time. So for me, Italian battleships are basically relegated to ranked, and the Giuseppe Verdi is a lot of fun with its secondaries. Even though they are sap, they're not that OP since they have horrible accuracy and pretty low range. You'll notice I'm not even able to hit the Massachusetts here, and that's because of my build. I'm building main guns still. Like I said in my previous brawling battleship video, I'm trying to maximize the main gun still. That's the bread and butter of every battleship, even most secondary ones. The only ones that aren't are possibly the German battle cruisers. But here, building main guns makes the most sense. And the secondaries do a little bit of chip damage. Primarily though, that's if we get into those really close quarters brawls. These secondaries can absolutely slap some people. And now probably my favorite way to use these smokes. Yes, I'm using it to get away. Yes, I'm using it to do my turnout for free, right? I'm not exposing my broadside to the Massachusetts because I'm not spotted. The funnest thing to do is push hard at the enemy team's home cap and cap it on them. Robbing the bank. We're pushing them far enough away that we can safely cap their home cap. And of course, the Alaska coming back isn't quite here in time to radar us and reset the cap zone. This is easily my favorite way to use these Italian smokes. I've loved doing this in the Venezia, and even it can work in some of these Italian battleships. It's a ton of fun. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does, I'm always giggling because it's just so much fun. And even though it's an Italian battleship, this one has a little bit better accuracy. It's okay. It's just okay accuracy. Sometimes, though, Alaskas can take citadels when they're flat broadside. We managed to get ourselves a nice hit in there and up over 100k again. A pretty good set of games, and just reminds me that brawling battleships really are meant for ranked these days. It's tough to make them work in random battles, so if you've been trying to make them work in randoms, give it a go in ranked. It can be a lot of fun. As for the builds, you can get away with some full secondary builds in these ranked battles, but I do think the hybrid build is just better. It's just much better at dealing damage throughout a match, and not just in those specific times where people are actually in secondary range. So the commanders look pretty similar these days. I'm taking manual secondaries, more healing, and fire prevention. These three are my top tier skills, and then at tier 3, I'm taking secondary range and adrenaline rush. Pretty standard. I've been pretty set on this build for a while, and I do think it's the best all-round brawling mid-range build. I think that these longer range battleships might do better with some concealment expert instead of their secondaries, but Yeah, I'm having fun with these builds. You can see they're very similar. I'm taking aiming systems wherever I can, reload on my main guns wherever I can, and then just getting the secondaries to a reasonable point with our commander. And yeah, no fire prevention on the Giuseppe Verdi, but that's because I just don't want to invest the resources in resetting my captain. I would definitely switch it to fire prevention at this point. This commander's from a very long time ago. I don't think I've played this ship very much since I reviewed it all those months ago, but it's actually pretty good and a lot of fun in ranked. But yeah, Georgia's definitely better, to no one's surprise. There's a reason this ship has been taken out of the game for normal sale, at least. Maybe it'll come back at some point. I hope so. Maybe as a Black Friday ship, Wargaming, if you're listening. I know a lot of people would enjoy it. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.